Unmasking the Darkest Chapters in History, 30 Unforgettable Tragedies You Won't Stop Thinking About. In China, the Cultural Revolution led to widespread chaos and violence. Countless lives were disrupted, families were torn apart, and cultural heritage was destroyed in the name of radical ideology. During the Franco-Prussian War in 1870, the city of Paris endured a devastating siege that lasted for several months. Food scarcity became a severe problem, leading to some Parisians resorting to extreme measures. Reports emerged of people eating rats, cats, and even zoo animals, highlighting the desperate struggle for survival. In Sudan, the Darfur genocide witnessed mass killings, ethnic cleansing, and widespread sexual violence, causing immense suffering and displacement for the affected population. Germany's Night of Broken Glass, or Kristallnacht, marked a violent anti-Jewish pogrom in 1938, where synagogues were destroyed, businesses looted, and Jewish individuals targeted. In Myanmar, the Rohingya genocide has led to the systematic persecution, mass killings, and displacement of the Rohingya Muslim minority, constituting a grave humanitarian crisis. In Nigeria, the Biafra War, 1967–1970, plunged the nation into a devastating conflict, resulting in widespread violence, famine, and the loss of millions of lives. In Spain, the Franco dictatorship suppressed political dissent through repression, censorship, and widespread human rights violations, leaving a lasting impact on the country's history. In Vietnam, the My Lai massacre exposed the brutal reality of war, as American soldiers killed unarmed Vietnamese civilians, including women, children, and the elderly. In India, the 1984 anti-Sikh riots erupted after the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, leading to targeted violence, killings, and widespread destruction against the Sikh community. In Canada, the residential school system forcibly separated indigenous children from their families, causing immense cultural assimilation, abuse, and lasting intergenerational trauma. China, the Great Leap Forward, 1958–1962, led to an estimated 45 million deaths due to forced collectivization, disastrous policies, and widespread famine under Mao Zedong's rule. Argentina, during the military junta's Dirty War, 1976–1983, thousands of political dissidents were forcibly disappeared, tortured, and killed, leaving a haunting legacy of state-sponsored violence. Cambodia, under the Khmer Rouge regime, 1975–1979, nearly 2 million people lost their lives due to forced labor, executions, and the devastating impact of social and agricultural policies. Germany, the Holocaust, 1941–1945, witnessed the systematic persecution and extermination of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime, forever staining human history with unparalleled horror. Rwanda, in the 1994 genocide, approximately 1 million Tutsis were brutally massacred by the Hutu majority, illustrating the depths of human cruelty and the devastating consequences of ethnic violence. Soviet Union, the Holodomor, 1932–1933, inflicted a man-made famine in Ukraine, orchestrated by Joseph Stalin's regime, resulting in millions of deaths and untold suffering. Australia, the Stolen Generations, 1910–1970s, involved the forced removal of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children from their families, causing deep trauma and cultural disconnection. Japan, the Nanking Massacre, 1937–1938, witnessed the brutal slaughter and widespread rape of hundreds of thousands of Chinese civilians by the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II. Guatemala, from 1960 to 1996, the Civil War devastated the country, with state-sponsored violence, massacres, and human rights abuses, resulting in the deaths of thousands of indigenous people. South Africa, the Apartheid era, 1948 to 1994, enforced racial segregation, institutionalized discrimination, and state-sanctioned violence, leaving a lasting legacy of social and economic inequality. Turkey, the Armenian genocide, 1915 to 1923, perpetrated by the Ottoman Empire led to the mass killings and forced deportation of approximately 1.5 million Armenians, a tragedy still contested today. In Japan, the Nanking Massacre shook the world during World War II. The Imperial Japanese Army committed brutal atrocities, including mass killings, rape, and looting, resulting in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Chinese civilians. Iraq, the Ain Affair campaign, 1986 to 1989, carried out by Saddam Hussein's regime targeted the Kurdish population, resulting in mass killings, forced disappearances, and the destruction of entire communities. France, the Reign of Terror, 1793 to 1794, during the French Revolution witnessed mass executions, with the guillotine becoming a symbol of the state's brutal suppression of dissent. United States, the transatlantic slave trade, 16th–19th centuries, forcibly transported millions of Africans, subjecting them to unimaginable suffering, exploitation, and the denial of basic human rights. North Korea, the oppressive regime under Kim Jong-un continues to subject its population to severe human rights abuses, including forced labor, political repression, and pervasive surveillance. Chile, during the Pinochet dictatorship, 1973 to 1990, political opponents were systematically targeted, resulting in torture, disappearances, and extrajudicial killings, leaving scars on the nation's history. United States Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings brought unprecedented devastation during World War II, as atomic bombs were dropped, leading to immense loss of life and long-lasting effects. Ireland, the Great Famine, 1845 to 1852, devastated the country, leading to mass starvation, disease, and emigration as a result of crop failure and British colonial policies. India's partition tragedy recounts the mass migration and violence that accompanied the division of India and Pakistan in 1947, leaving a trail of death, displacement, and communal unrest. Stay engaged, like and subscribe for more captivating insights into history's most disturbing facts.